Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our Planning and Development meeting of February 7th, 2024. We're here at the Harbor Masters Conference Room. I'd like to introduce Dylan Benson, Ward 2 City Councilor, who is now on the Planning and Development, and I'm filling in for Jason Grow. I'm the Vice Chair of Planning and Development. My name is Val Gilman. I'm an at-large councilor. I'm representing the city. We have our corporate attorney, solicitor, Suzanne Egan here tonight. And Sherry White is our clerk of committees. And can you tell me if anyone else is on the call that I should introduce?
No one right now.
Okay, great. So I'd like to begin by just mentioning there is one matter that we're continuing. It's City Council 2024-003, Council Grow, amend GZO section 5.16.12, affordable component in 5.16.13, payment in lieu to be continued until February 21st, 2024. The first order of business is memorandums from our general counsel regarding Davis Street, number 5, and number 8, East Gloucester School Building rededication. And I'd like to turn the meeting over to Suzanne Egan to tell us what this is all about so we can take action. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Councilor Gilman. So this matter is before you pursuant to the special act legislation that was filed by the city of Gloucester in the East Gloucester School Building project. So in 2020, the city of Gloucester, as you know, transferred a portion of the property to build the new East Veterans School Building and agreed that the East Gloucester School Building would be used and rededicated for open space and recreational purposes. So the acts of 2020 require the city council to take a vote to rededicate the land for open space and park purposes and for the protection of Chapter 97. This parcel used to be used as a school building. School committee took that vote to determine that it was no longer necessary to be used for school purposes and to deliver it to the city council for general municipal purposes. City council that now reviews that, takes the vote to rededicate it for the open space and recreation purposes.
Great, thank you. Councilor Dylan, Councilor Benson, do you have any questions of our city solicitor?
No, I don't think, maybe a brief question, but maybe it wouldn't be directed towards you, is like, how much, like, what do people envision, what is the city envisioning there? Is it just gonna be some open space or like some sort of gazebos and stuff like that? Would there be a bathroom there and stuff like that? That's kind of my question.
Okay, so the city has been engaging in an open space committee with garnering public input for the past number of months. That's on the city's website. All of that information is there. And that's an ongoing public dialogue as to the use of that parcel. Like, what will that look like? What will the open space and passive recreation on that parcel look like? That's being undertaken by the planning or community development department. So that's an ongoing process.
And the public can continue their input, correct?
Continue their input. Yep, and all that information is available on the website. If also they meet at public meetings to discuss that project.
Okay.
They've held numerous public meetings on that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, in fact, I went to the first one and it was so interactive. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Everyone participating, even some of our athletes from the high school there. It was really awesome.
That's great, yeah. I encourage the public to participate all across the city because this could be a useful open space for everyone, whether they live in the neighborhood or they don't. So take advantage of that.
Great. So I have no questions. So would you like to make the motion, Counselor?
Okay,
Go ahead.
all right. So I do, so we read right here, is that correct?
Committee recommendation.
Okay,
Yeah.
committee recommendation, move to recommend that the city council pursuant to chapter 152 of Acts 220 of chapter 284 of the Acts of 220, the city council vote to transfer the land compressing approximately 2.8 acres more or less located at 8 Davis Street, which includes East Gloucester Elementary School, comprised of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and D, and the lot labeled portion of Maxwell Parson Playground, and the layouts of Davis Street Extension and Parsons Street, as shown on a plan of land entitled Plan of Land comprising of new schoolhouse site of East Gloucester, Massachusetts, dated September 22nd, 1947, and recorded at the east of the Essex South Registry of Deeds in Plan Book 72, page 45, to care and custody of the Department of Public Works of the city to be used for a municipal park and open space purposes, and to grant a deed restriction placing the land under the protection of Article 97 of the amendments to the Constitution of the Commonwealth in perpetuity to be preserved for municipal park and open space purposes. And then, is that it?
And I so move.
And I so move, sorry.
And I will second the motion.
All right,
Thank you. Is there a discussion, Counselor?
no,
And I would just like to say that I will absolutely be supporting this. This is the right thing to do, and it's really just a transactional method that we have to do to bring it back to the city from the school. So I thank you for being here, Suzanne. We don't need a roll call vote because we have a quorum here, and this is you and I. So all those in favor say aye.
I,
The ayes have it, 2 in favor, 0 opposed, and this will now be in front of the full council for full council vote, correct?
Correct, on Tuesday evening.
Great. You're free to go if you
Thank
like.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
this is why I didn't like reading out loud at school, but gotta get used to it now, right? Like unless I prepare, like, I mean, I read this briefly, but I didn't prepare that I was gonna read it out loud, so bear with me on
You did just
on the
fine.
camera.
You did a good job.
You did fine.
It's a long, that was a long
The
motion.
pressure's on, so the next order of business is a letter from St. Peter's Fiesta Committee requesting permission to use St. Peter's Park and Roger Street on June 26th to June 30th, 2024. And I'd like to ask if the three of you would introduce yourself. So wonderful to have you here once again. Joe, we'll start with you. Introduce yourself and your address.
Joe Novello, I'm a member of the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee.
Thank you.
David Levier, also a member of the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee. Anthony Customano, also a member.
Great, and we so much welcome you here.
Thank you.
We've been through the pandemic together, we've been through the hurdles of whether to have it or not, and you are just the muscle of this whole event, and it's such a wonderful event for our city, so we're grateful to have you here. So is there anything new this year that you need to tell us about, or is it the same plan that we've always had?
Actually, it's more or less the same plan. We are asking permission to use St. Peter's Park and the surrounding areas. Roger Street, Commercial Street, Fort Square, the playground, the boulevard, parts of the boulevard for vendors and stuff. The only thing different that we may have is maybe some entertainment, different entertainers, but the
Mhm.
schedule's just about the same.
Okay, so the road closures is particularly what we're here
Yes.
to approve, so nothing
Right.
new with the road closures,
Same parade route on Sunday.
okay?
We have a procession on Tuesday evening from the Legion around, from the Legion down to Commercial Street, down to Beach Court, and then back to St. Peter's Park. It's a short 10-minute procession. We usually just get a patrol car there just to stop the traffic for a couple of minutes.
Great,
We also have the Fiesta 5 road race, but Carol Meyer from the YMCA will be coming before the board separately.
great. Terrific, great. And I just want to shout out to you, Joe, and to you, Anthony. Back when we were putting in all of our plastic bag recommendations, I remember the year that Council Cox made a comment that maybe it was time to substitute the helium balloons, which was a tradition. And I remember that you immediately accepted that feedback and changed the tradition, because we know that helium balloons are not good for our fish and for our turtles and for our birds, and things like that are really was so grateful that you took a tradition and right off you said, we're fine with that. So thank you. It
Well, we
means a
try to,
lot.
we try to work with every group that's involved with us. And, you know, as long as everyone's happy, we're happy.
We love Fiesta, so thank you.
Yeah.
I love to take a picture of you every year too, because you're the voice of the
Oh,
Fiesta.
I'll start putting it up.
Dylan, do you have any questions to ask this team?
Well, a comment if that's appropriate
Sure.
to ask. I just want to say that thank you for coming and thank you for all that you do. Gloucester wouldn't be Gloucester without the Fiesta, so it is a staple of our community and growing up, coming from a family of fishermen through generations, it's a treat and I look forward to approving this. And also look forward to attending the Fiesta as I have since I've been alive now 31, I'll be 32 by the time the Fiesta happens. And just a quick question, it says that the kiddie rides are to be kept at the St. Peter's Square Park. So the other rides though for older adults will be will be there too as well. Is that correct? Yeah, just the way I was reading, I wanted to make sure that we weren't expanding.
No, what we try to do is to get the amusement company to set up the kiddie rides closer to the actual, with the stage and the Fiesta.
Okay,
There's less noise or whatever.
yeah,
But that area, the ground settles quite a bit.
sure,
And we found that, like the merry-go-round, all right? They have certain rules and codes that they have to follow where when they step off that platform, it can only be, you know, a certain height.
Yeah.
And just the way the ground settles, they had to move it to a different spot,
okay,
all right? But, yeah, we just try to keep it so that, you know, it's quieter.
Yeah.
You know, the carnival noise is further on the back end.
sure, okay,
Great.
yeah,
I'll read this one and you can read the third one.
okay, sounds good.
So I move to allow the 2024 annual St. Peter's Fiesta commencing on Wednesday evening, June 26, 2024 through Sunday, June 30th, 2024, for the purpose of conducting the St. Peter's Fiesta on the days and dates mentioned herein, and allowing the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee from June 26th through June 30th, 2024, to have the use and control of St. Peter's Park on Rogers Street, the streets and sidewalks of Rogers Street, from Mansfield Way to the entrance of Commercial Street, including the dock/deck area behind 11 Rogers Street, Commercial Street up to Fort Square, and from the intersection of Main and Washington Streets to St. Peter's Park, and on Friday, June 28th, Saturday, June 29th, and Sunday, June 30th, on only the water side of Stacy Boulevard from 30 Western Ave, the Tavern, to the Fisherman's Memorial, and the Shibataro Gemalaro Playground at Fort Square for the purpose of conducting the St. Peter's Fiesta on the days and dates mentioned above with the following conditions. Number one, that the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee by June 7th, 2024 file a certificate of insurance naming the city of Gloucester as a certificate holder with the city clerk. Number two, that the kiddie rides, those restricted to children of a height of 42 inches or under, be kept at the St. Peter's Square Park. Three, that the footprint of the Fiesta be drawn on a plan showing locations of, but not limited to, comfort stations and first aid stations to be placed on file with the city clerk by June 7th, 2024. Four, that the music and rides closest to the altar area be shut down at the opening and closing ceremonies. Five, vendors shall not be allowed on the right-hand side of Commercial Street, nor on the streets and sidewalks from 2 Washington Street to 33 Commercial Street. Vendor trailers must be parked elsewhere as directed by the Gloucester Police Department, with arrangements for such parking made in advance of the start of St. Peter's Fiesta. 6, one fixed vendor permitted by the city of Gloucester located on Stacy Boulevard is allowed to stay in place and vend during the Fiesta. 7, vendors on Stacy Boulevard must stay on the sidewalk and use weights for their tents. Stakes are prohibited. 8, handicap parking spaces must be kept clear at all times. 9, parking spaces can be used by vendors near the public landing on Stacy Boulevard, but can't locate in the middle of the landing or block users of the landing in any way. 10, all peddlers, canvassers, and solicitors and others who encroach upon or occupy in any way these areas without the express consent of the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee are to be considered trespassers and be in violation of Gloucester Code of Ordinance, Chapter 14, Section 14-6, trespass. 11, that the Special Event Advisory Committee votes their final approval at the March 7, 2024 meeting, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is made by Gilman, seconded by Benson. Is there a discussion? Council Benson.
Yeah, just had one quick question. It says on 6, one fixed vendor permitted by the city. Is that like through a lottery system, or how will we be selecting that one vendor?
I think that's just through Joanne. Do you have an answer for that, Joe, or?
There's a there's 9 fixed vendor spots throughout the city
Okay.
that had to bid for their spots. I think January 31st was at 11 was the,
So it's whomever is that spot
That's-
near the tavern is
Exactly.
the owner of
and they're
that.
allowed to be,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so that's, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, well, thank you for answering, and I
And
think the public
we
likes
understand
that
that,
answer.
we always deal with that
We
person.
know we want to hurt a vendor.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's good.
and it was very competitive this year. We actually got
Was it?
6 different people now, which is great. But it was very competitive, so people love their fixed vending,
Yeah.
and we love to buy from our fixed vendors, so.
Yeah.
Great, so any further discussion?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, 2 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Anthony,
Thank you.
David, and Joe for being here. You can hang out for the third thing if you want, or you can leave.
Go ahead.
Okay.
The computer.
Thank you. The final order of business is a special event application,
Yeah, bye, thank you.
EVNT 23-77, request for street closures by Gloucester Community Safety Day on September 28th, 2024, with September 29th, 2024 rain date. And I believe Officer Parity is on the.
Yep,
On
on
the
the
call?
call, yep.
I am. I knew you would be here, and I so much appreciate that, and we love this safety day. So do you want to tell us about it and anything new this year? And we appreciate your work in leading this. Last year I had so much fun, I could hardly leave, so.
It's a good time. It will be September 28th this year. I don't want to give away any surprises that may be there this year, but the street setup and closures, partial closures on each end will be the same as all the previous years. If there is any landowners, property owners, or emergency vehicles that need to get through the event, by all means, we'll make sure that they get through. For those of you that may be in the room that aren't aware of where the partial closures begin, there'll be some sawhorses set up just after the building center on that side of Harbor Loop. So the building center can have a full day of business without being bothered by the event. And on the other side, it will be sawhorsed off just after the Chamber of Commerce. Other than that, everything in between is where the event will take place. And like I said previously, if there's anyone that needs to get through, we always get them through.
Great, thank you so much. Council Benson, do you have any questions for Officer Parity?
I think just one, so you said the building center will not be affected, also, the Declan will not be affected, right? The people will be able to go to and from there if it is open.
That's correct. That's
Okay,
correct.
thank you. I was just more of a clarity question than anything, so I appreciate it. And thank you for all that you do for our city.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like to make the motion for this one?
Yes, motion. Move to approve a road closure of Harbor Loop on Saturday, September 28th, 2024, with a rain date of September 29th, 2024, from 7 AM until 4 PM. Vehicular traffic will be managed in a bottleneck manner as directed by the Gloucester Police Department. This event is covered under the city's general liability insurance. So moved.
Second, motion's been made by Council Benson, seconded by Council Gilman. Is there a discussion, Counselor?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay, I have nothing to say except thank you for this event. It just gets better and better every year, and the turnout and the camaraderie from all the emergency responders through all over New England. It's just,
It's a great event and it's growing every year and the city's been great and I thank you for your support every year. You guys have been great.
we really appreciate it. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, 2 in favor, 0 opposed. That
Thank you,
concludes.
guys.
And thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for everything.
Take care. Have a good night.
Good night. I think that it's time to adjourn. Is there a
Yeah.
motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, and so folks at home know that that date is a Saturday, the 28th, and then it would be the 29th if there's a rain date, so folks know that's a Saturday or a Sunday if there's the rain.
Great.
So,
Thank
all
you.
right, you're welcome.
So motion to adjourn?
Yes,
All right, so moved. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Good night.
Good night, folks.
Night.